Hi Swapnil.
Hello, sir. How are you
Well,
doing?
I'm good. Welcome to CATway once again.
Thank you, sir.
So Swapnil, you have converted IIM Bangalore and other colleges, है ना? What all calls have you converted till now?
Sir, I had Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Lucknow, Indore, and FMS. And I have converted Bangalore, and FMS is waitlist 143. And Lucknow and Indore, I'm hopeful it will convert.
Okay, all right. So let's
Yeah.
start from the very scratch. When you would have started your CAT
Yes,
preparation.
sir.
So
Yes.
let's introduce yourself first.
Okay. So, hello everyone. I'm Swapnil. I have been working as a software engineer at Microsoft for the last 4 years, and now I decided to pursue my MBA, and for that I chose CATway for my GDPI preparation.
Okay, all right. So when you were working at Microsoft, what motivated you to go towards this MBA journey?
Yeah. So while I was at Microsoft, uh, initially my role was slightly technical, where I learned a lot of technical skills. But as I grew, my roles expanded into dealing with the product and business discussions, and that side intrigued me more.
Okay,
So, owing to my interest in the business side, I decided to explore and pursue MBA.
all right. So you have graduated from which college?
Sir, IIT Guwahati in 2021.
IIT Guwahati. So IIT Guwahati to Microsoft to now IIM Bangalore. All right, that's a story
Yes,
for
sir.
some time later. है ना?
Yes, sir.
Let's discuss about your CAT preparation. When you had started your CAT preparation, how much percentile did you get?
I scored 99.52 percentile overall.
So 99.52. So you must have prepared for VARC, DILR, and Quant separately.
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about your strategy towards tackling all three sections.
Yes, sir. So I started my prep in August
Mm-hmm.
after quitting my job, and I prepped for 4 months, about 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
So as an engineer and as a former engineering student, I already had an edge in quant. So while dealing with quant, all I had to do was brush up the topics
Mm-hmm.
and focus on solving the problems with speed
Mm-hmm.
and accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
And another very important thing that I realized and learned during my CAT prep was, given time, we can solve each and every question in quant. It's about choosing the right question, which question to solve, and leaving the question at the right time when you are unable to crack it. So this was the core skill I believe it is required,
Mm-hmm.
not only for quant, but for definitely for DILR also. But this is what I felt for quant.
Okay.
For DILR, I felt set selection is very crucial. So in DILR, usually we get 4 or 5 sets.
Mm-hmm.
Out of that, what I used to do is I used to spend first almost 5 to 6 minutes skimming through the sets,
Mm-hmm.
trying to determine which ones seem crackable.
Mm-hmm.
So I would make a priority order of, let's say, at least 3 sets that I would identify that I would attempt, and in which order. And then I would start tackling them in that order.
Okay.
So this helped me approach DILR section in a structured way. And on the preparation part, I believe DILR is mostly about practice. The more you practice, the more sets, the more type variety of sets you come across, the more you will learn, and the more you will be able to uh, tackle. And this will also help you realize what are your strong parts or what are your weak parts, and it will help you develop an intuition as to how to select the set.
Okay.
So this was about DILR.
And
And
VRC.
another important thing was in DILR, sometimes what happens is when you're unable to crack a question or crack the set, so it feels demotivating. So we need to keep our head high and move to the next set within some time limit. So like a stop loss time limit should be there, and you should move to the next set,
Mm-hmm.
because you should realize that this is a whole game that you need to optimize, and this is not about you solving a single set. So these are few learnings for DILR. And as for VARC, I feel VARC, you need to be able to read quickly, not fast, read quick, but be able to grasp whatever you're reading.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the most important skill that I feel is needed. Rest, I think practice shall help you.
So let's
For
talk
reading,
about let's talk
yes,
about mocks too, right? When you would have written mocks in some of the mocks, obviously you also have scored low, right?
yes,
So how
yes.
did you keep your mental peace intact at that point of time, and how was your strategy towards handling mocks?
So I was very serious with mocks. Uh, in the starting few mocks, I used to score very poor marks, I would say. And I used to think like, why is it so bad? As I thought, even in maths, I was not able to attempt a good amount of questions. Forget DILR and VARC. So I was definitely demotivated. And then I would talk to my friends or someone just for some time and then come back at it with full force and actually analyze all the questions. So what I used to do is after I gave a mock, of course I'll see the score and next thing what I'll do is I'll go through the paper again in the order of quant, VARC and then DILR and
Mhm.
then try to solve other questions too.
Okay.
While doing this, I would try to note down whether this question was an easy miss or whether this was a good leave or whether I should have attempted this
Mhm.
or not. So these were the learnings that I tried to have. Apart from that, similarly, in each time I practiced, I think my set selection skills improved in DILR. Whether or not I was able to solve the skills, I realized one thing that I'm able to at least select the correct sets in the initial mocks, or rather, I would say for a long time. So all of these, I think, slowly developed mock by mock. So we need to remember that mock is just a part of taking one step towards the final goal, and we need to keep moving towards that and analyze properly. Definitely, please analyze properly.
So the cat happened, results came, and the screen reflected a 99.52.
Yes,
So
sir.
how was your emotions at that point of time? Whether you were satisfied, unsatisfied, obviously you'll be having high expectations. I can understand that. So what were the emotions at that point of time?
So after I had given my exam, I knew how it went. So I was, and there were a lot of percentile predictors and everything around. So and plus, given my profile plus the call that I wanted, the number that I had in my mind was about 99.5 plus. Should be there at least for an general engineer to be able to get calls. So this is what the number that I saw. So in this sense, it was good that I was able to meet my target. But then I had performed surprisingly not so good in quant, which was my strong foot actually. I made a lot of mistakes.
Mhm.
I had a good number of attempts, about 13, but only 8 or 9 were correct. So that was a very big miss.
Okay.
So I felt I could have done better on that part. Yeah. So but then so that was there for a few days, but then when I started to get calls, I got Ahmedabad and then Bangalore, Kozhikode, Lucknow, Indore. So I think this faded away, and then the interview became the more important part where I had to focus.
So how were
So
your actual interview experiences? You went on to attempt the IIM Ahmedabad actual interview, Bangalore's actual interview. How were the interview experiences?
even before going to the first interview, I think I have had 5 or 6 mocks. So I have had a pretty decent experience of what kind of questions do professors ask, what kind of areas do they touch upon. But interviews are always unpredictable. That
Yes.
is the note. So we should never look for certainty in any interview. We
Uh-huh.
should go there with an open mind and answer truthfully. That is the only way you can actually answer questions with confidence. So my first interview was Ahmedabad, and my interview was kind of slightly structured. First part was towards my job and my long-term plans. The next part was about my undergraduate, that is in electronics, and the last part was about my personal behavior, more like HR questions and my hobbies.
Uh-huh.
So it was a structured interview, and the interview experience was overall decent. I felt my panel was slightly dismissive of all the answers.
That
But
happens with all the panels, in Ahmedabad.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
So that was it. But I think the important thing is to maintain your confidence and composure and take your stance in all the answers. Be consistent.
All right. So
So
then
yeah,
results started to roll in. The
yeah,
first result Ahmedabad came, and I
yeah.
still remember you had a disappointed face on that day.
Yes, sir.
What was going on in your mind when you didn't convert IMA?
So personally, I had been preparing myself for a reject actually. I was hopeful, but there was a part of me that was also preparing me for the rejection because the overall interview tone to me seemed of a dismissive nature. So, whereas I expected the interviews to be a more conversational, more knowing to get types, but that didn't happen. Plus, yeah, Ahmedabad was my best call. So seeing that rejection definitely didn't I didn't I was it was difficult for me. But
Obviously.
then I was going to play badminton in the evening with friends, and I went on with my plan, and that helped definitely. So I would say, yeah, rejections are also important to face and face it
Some
with.
days later, I am Bangalore came and rest is history. Yeah, sitting here, right?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
when you got that congratulatory mail from I am Bangalore,
Yes,
उस
sir.
समय का expectations and emotions कैसा था तुम्हारा?
Sir, it was a very surreal feeling actually when if I have to describe in one word. So I was just sitting there and something popped up, Gmail notification popped up and then it went away. I'm like, what happened? And I opened the Gmail and I saw, and then I read it twice. And then I asked my cousin to also read it and then tell me, yeah, this is real, this is correct. I'm not just dreaming. And finally, like it felt like our months and months of efforts
Hard
finally
work
paid
paid
off.
off. Yeah.
So that was a very humbling feeling, I would say, and very surreal.
So
Yeah.
you were a part of CATway for your GDPI preparation, and I can
Yes,
say
sir.
now you are a part of that family since long. So
Yes, sir.
how are the cultures of CATway according to you?
Sir, I feel the culture is overall a very family-like supportive culture. Uh, I can ask my doubt any time of the day or night, and I would get a reply within 1 or 2 hours or a follow-up at least. This in itself was a very big surprise to me, like managing so many students yet being on toes for each and every message. This was something that I liked very much. Apart from that, if we talk about the SOP reviews, so the detailed reviews and pointers that you gave, I think that also helped a lot in refining my SOP and to telling and so that to make my story come out better. So
Mhm.
these were the initial tasks. Apart from that, we had regular classes and the current affairs group wherein I used to get my daily dose of information, the TTBRs, and all of those definitely helped me build context. For example, I definitely lacked geopolitical context and didn't used to follow much news and everything. But slowly and slowly, when I started to read more and more news, come to terms with what is going on around the world, I was able to develop this my own perspective, my own viewpoint, and so this there was a great help from the Catway.
All right.
And the most important help was the mock interviews. So the mock interviews that I gave were very good. They were very defined. They were very varied. So due to this, I feel most of the areas were covered multiple times, which helped me polish my answers, think about more questions myself, come up with more answers, and overall prepare my story better. So mock interviews I felt were the most important part, and thank you for taking so many mock interviews, giving feedback, having confidence in me, uh, and then
It was
creating
your
the overall
efforts at the end that
experience.
paid off. So
Yes,
before
sir.
joining any institute, every student have some expectations, right? So
Yes, sir.
when you joined CATway and in these 4 months of journey, are your expectations filled?
Definitely, sir.
On that note, if I'll ask you to rate CATway on a scale of 10, what will be your rating?
Sir, I would say 10 on 10.
Okay, all right.
Yes,
So
sir.
what about future plans? Now you're going to be a part of IMB. What is your future plans?
So my current plan is to join IIM Bangalore, pursue my MBA, and I'm still on the slightly exploratory part as to what specific MBA domain I would like to pursue. But I'm leaning towards consulting, and now as I join IIM Bangalore, I would love to meet my peers, talk to professors and seniors, and gain more perspective on how to navigate MBA life, how to make the best of it, and what each discipline holds in future, and then make my decisions further.
So since many of the future aspirants will be watching your video, any success mantra for them?
I would say consistency is the key. For me, it is the only thing that has always worked.
It was
Be
nice meeting
consistent.
you, Swapnil. All the best for your future
Likewise, sir.
endeavors. CATway is
Thanks
proud
a
to
lot,
have
sir.
students like you. All the best.
Thanks a lot, sir, and the whole Catway team.